I am not a very knowledgeable person, but I do have a surface level knowledge on a lot of things. Now, does this make me smart? No, but it does give me lots of content, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I have compiled a list of good entertainment. Most of its games, some of its movies, there's like one book and one album there. I'll be giving you an intro, a kind of review, I guess. I don't really know. This is completely unscripted. I could have given you this info in 5 seconds, but instead I've been talking for what feels like an eternity. So first up on the list, Factorio. Now this game is amazing. On the surface, it sounds very simple and very boring. You mine resources, you automate mining those resources, you assemble them into different parts, you assemble those into even bigger parts until you finally make science packs which you use for your research, which in turn goes on for more research over and over until you finally launch a rocket ship. But this game has one thing going for it, and that's humanity's need to be lazy. You know how I said you could automate mining? That's kind of the truth. You can actually automate everything, literally everything. You can even automate playing the game if you create an AI that will play it for you, and I'm sure somebody will do that in a few years time. This game is also incredibly addicting. If you go and look at the Steam reviews for this game, you'll find lots of funny ones, like a guy who said his wife left him after playing it, or people saying that it's like time travel. You started at 8 a.m. in the morning and then suddenly it's 9 in the night. But that begs the question, what is it that makes this game so addicting? I think that it's because of bottlenecks. There are these machines that can automatically craft items for you, but you have to provide the resources for those. And you never need a specific amount of an item. You are always going to need more and more and more. Let's say you have a crafting machine to craft an item which has 2 ingredients. And let's say you need to produce more of these. So you add more assembly machines. But you have less resources, which means most of the machines aren't working all the time. So you need more of those resources, and if you increase one, then the other has to be increased too. And this goes on and on all the way down back to the first basic resource. And this is incredibly addicting. This is one of the few games where I spent I think around 50 hours in one of my save files, which I know isn't a lot, but for me that's very high. I mean, even a game like Minecraft, I get bored in it after like 10 hours once I'm settled in the world. Factorio is like a live service multiplayer game, except it doesn't try to suck your money and it also doesn't suck. So next up is Before Your Eyes. Now this game is amazing. Seriously, it's amazing. It's like 90 minutes long and has this really cool gimmick where you use your eyes to actually see stuff. And I don't mean fake eyes, like in-game eyes. Your real eyes. You have to set up a camera and it's kind of finicky. It takes like 5 minutes to set up, but I promise you it's worth it. The story is amazing. It's one of the few games that made me almost cry. Now obviously I didn't cry because I'm a man TM.
Did you just trademark that?
What?
That's a verbal trademark, that's an agreement.
But this came close. Like seriously, this story is amazing. The game is only about 90 minutes and the story itself is very simple. In the beginning of the game, you are dead. Yeah, you're dead. And then this rat man thing picks you up. It's kind of like Karen, the Greek mythology one, not the manager one. And this guy has an incredibly smooth voice. Like imagine if it was Morgan Freeman, except, I don't know, fun?
You had your chances. It's not my fault that you were no good layabouts.
Like if this guy had a podcast, I would be listening to it. That's how good his voice is. So the rat tells you that your life is about to be judged and that he is gonna argue for your life to be let into heaven. Which means that you have to tell him everything that happened in your life. But then later on the game changes slightly and I don't want to spoil it, but it's really good. You really should play it. There is an option to play without using a camera, but don't use it though. I think the blinking lends the game a sense of dreaminess, which is really nice and it's just really good. So next up is a movie, The Last Duel. I'm gonna give you guys as much information as the marketing team did. Alright? Spider-Man No Way Home is this amazing Marvel movie with Tom Holland and Doctor Strange is there, and they're probably going to do something with the multiverse. I don't know, they've been teasing that for like the past 3 years. So next up is Trench, which is not a video game, it's a music album. And the reason for why it isn't a video game is that nobody actually watches my videos when they're about video games. Seriously, the 2 videos on my channel that have more than 1k views, One is about a movie and the other is about a YouTube video. So anyway, Trends is this album released by 21 Pilots in 2018. In my opinion, there are two things entertainment has to do in order to be good. And that is one, be entertaining, and two, be meaningful. And Trends is definitely entertaining. No matter what kind of music you listen to, there's probably at least one song in here that you'd like. Unless you listen to, I don't know, Beethoven or something, in which case, why? That guy hasn't released a new song in like a century. Most of the album takes place in this place called Dune, which people have taken as a metaphor for many different things, such as the music industry, or religion, or mental health. You know how English teachers draw meaning from the most meaningless lines ever, like the sky is dark blue. The author is obviously very depressed. Trench and most of 21 Pilots songs are like that, except they actually do have meaning. Their latest album, Scaled in Icy, is also part of the same Dima storyline, and it's supposed to be propaganda from them, I think. I'm not sure, but I'll figure it out one day. So next up is a video game. My friends are gonna kill me for this, but Outer Wilds. Seriously, it's an amazing game, and you owe to yourself to play it on the off chance that you're actually into it. Because if this game clicks with you, you will enjoy it for a long time and you will remember it for even longer. Now remember how I said Before Your Eyes was one of the few games that made me cry? Well, this was the other one. Now, am I actually going to tell you anything about this game? No, I'm just going to give you the most basic stuff. You are a space explorer and you're exploring space. But it's not an exploration game, it's a puzzle game where you're exploring the puzzle in the form of the solar system. That doesn't exactly make sense, but it will make sense if you play it, which you should. This game is amazing, you really should play it. It's a game that will make you realize what an actual open world is supposed to be. So that's two games, an album, and a movie as a joke. So what's left? A book. I'm fairly certain I've only read two books this entire year, and that's Dune 1 and Dune Messiah. Both of them are good. Seriously, if you watched Dune and you really liked it, read the first book. The movie is only the first half of the first book out of 6 books, and the second half of the book is where everything is amazing. You see what happens to Paul, whether he becomes the Kwisatz Haderach, and near the ending, I don't want to spoil things, but it's really good. And then the second book is a continuation of the continuation of the first half of the first book, which I realized could have just been said as the second book, but they sounded cooler. The second book is a bit more sci-fi, but it still has the politics and philosophy of the first book, and you get to see what happens after the happy ending that the first book had. So those are my top 5 recommendations of entertainment for nothing really. Like almost all the stuff I said is just stuff that's been there for years. Outer Wilds released in 2019. Factorio has been in early access for 10 years. Dune, the books are from the 1960s. So this means that I don't really have a hook. I don't have a off this decade or off this year or anything to latch on to this video, which means there's a high likelihood nobody will actually watch this video. So if you're actually watching this, play the stuff I said. It's pretty good. I think it's good. You might enjoy it. If you're interested in the stuff I'm saying, be sure to check out some of my other videos. Some of them are serious, some of them are jokes.